We're going to get pretty technical in this episode, so make sure you grab a glass of iced tea or an adult beverage of your choosing. We're going to get rid of the barrel swivel off your bucktail and teaser rigs for Fluke. I'm going to tell you why we're doing that, and I'm going to show you how to do it.
All know me. Know how I earn a living.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Next Drift. On this video, we are going to talk about getting rid of that barrel swivel off the bucktail and teaser rig. It's been something I've wanted to do for a long time. We started experimenting with it last year, and I think the real benefits of it are the increased sensitivity. I think your hookup ratio is better, and it's much easier to not have that stinking piece of hardware in the middle of your line. So anyway, make sure you click that like button, click the subscribe button, click that notification bell, and let's get into it. Here we have the good old-fashioned bucktail and teaser rig. This rig's been made very popular over the years by John Skinner, and it's pretty much exclusively the rig that we use every time we go out fluke fishing. As you can see, up at the top is a barrel swivel that would be connected to your main braided line, and then down below that would be a leader line of about 36 inches of either fluorocarbon or monofilament. We happen to use Sunline Shooter fluorocarbon, 20 to 30 pound test depending on the application. Down at the bottom there's a dropper loop where the bucktail would be connected, and just above that, about 14 to 18 inches, would be another dropper loop where your teaser would be. It could be a single hook with a grub, it could be a fluke teaser with some sort of a piece of plastic or bait on the back, but for the most part, any variation of this rig is what we're going to be focusing on. Up at the top, there's a barrel swivel, and most of the time, fishermen are using that barrel swivel to connect their leader to their main braided line. And there's some benefits to it. It reduces line twist. It's simpler to tie when you want to just break off or need to break off your leader, and then you can just simply retie the leader onto that barrel swivel. The problem that we've found with that is that anytime you connect hardware to any portion of your main line, that's where you're going to lose sensitivity. And that's why we have kind of experimented a little bit, and I have found that by removing that barrel swivel and connecting the leader line directly to your main braided line with what we call a carrot knot, it increases sensitivity, it increases hookup ratio, and you're eliminating any of the stretch that would be left between the barrel swivel and your bucktail. Let's take a closer look at this. So here we have the barrel swivel. On one end of the barrel swivel, we would connect our main braided line, and on the other end, we would connect our leader material of either fluorocarbon or monofilament. The main purpose of this barrel swivel is to reduce line twist. Now, given the fact that most of the time when we're out fluke fishing using the bucktail and teaser rig, we're using bait casting equipment, and line twist is not a big of a deal with bait casting equipment as it would be with spinning equipment. So therefore, removing this piece of hardware is already an advantage. If you're experiencing any type of line twist with a bucktail and teaser, there's probably something wrong with the way that you've rigged the bucktail or teaser itself. You want to make sure that any time you're putting on a gulp grub or a piece of squid or bait or anything like that, you want to make sure it's rigged straight. If it's not rigged straight and you have a curve in the gulp grub, it's going to create line twist, and you really shouldn't have that. So double check and make sure that everything is rigged as straight as possible. The other reason that people would use a barrel swivel is for convenience. If you break off your bucktail or you have a nick in your leader line and you want to replace it, all you would have to do is just cut it off one end of the barrel swivel and you could retie. The downside to that is you're going to lose sensitivity. Anytime you have a piece of hardware connected to your main line, you're losing sensitivity. And when we're fishing in 80 to 120 feet of water with a 5 or 6 ounce bucktail, you want to be able to feel as much as possible. Sometimes those fluke strikes are very, very subtle. And I found that by removing the barrel swivel altogether and replacing it with the carrot knot, the sensitivity has gone up tremendously. Let's take a look at the carrot knot and I'll show you how to tie it. Here we have the carrot knot. It's called a carrot knot because, as you can see, when you tie it correctly, it forms the shape of a carrot. On the left side, you have your main braided line, and on the right side would be the leader. One of the advantages of tying a knot like this, like I had mentioned, is you're removing the barrel swivel. Anytime you have a direct connection to your lure, you're going to have more sensitivity. Now, there's lots of different types of braid to leader knots out there. There's the FG knot, the Albright knot, the SC knot, the Yucatan knot. The list goes on, and I've tried all of them. This particular knot is really beneficial because what it does do, as opposed to other knots, is it keeps your main line and your leader line in line with each other. Let me show you a quick graphic and I'll explain it, and then I'll show you how to tie this knot. In this graphic, we have a representation of two different knots. The top knot up near the X would be something like an Albright knot, an SC knot, or even a uni knot. And down below is a knot like the carrot knot. Now that top knot, as you can see the red lines below it, the left line would be your main braided line, and the right red line would be a representation of the leader line. And with a knot like that, you can see that those two lines connected are parallel with each other. They're not in line with each other. The knot down below, like the carrot knot, you can see that the red line on the left and the red line on the right are perfectly in line with each other. What are the advantages of that? Well, it's increased sensitivity. That's the main purpose. So let's tie the carrot knot. The first thing you're going to want to do is get your braided line and make a loop. Just double it over and make a loop. And I like to hold the loop parallel to the ground, because what you're going to want to do is you're going to take your fluorocarbon leader, like such, and you're going to come up through the bottom of this loop. Okay? Now make sure you give yourself enough slack, because you're going in the fluorocarbon, because you're going to be wrapping it around this double line right here. So let's do that. We're going to go 10 times around, and you'll have to practice where you want to put your fingers. Okay, I'm trying to do it without looking through the camera lens, which is a little bit tricky, but we're going to go 10 times. So let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We got it. All right. So now, after we've done our 10 wraps going down that double fluorocarbon, or a double piece of braid, we're going to go back this direction, and we're going to go 10 times back up to this loop. Okay? So let's do that. So I'm going to pinch it right here, and we're going to go 10 times back the other direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and can we get one more? 10. Okay, now remember, I came up through the bottom of this loop before. Now I'm going to go back down through the top. So I'm going to just kind of position my finger here, pull that leader tag back down through this loop. All right. So now I've got my leader tag and the leader main in my two fingers here, and I'm holding the main part of the braid and the tag on this end right here. Okay, you can see that. So we've wrapped in this direction 10 times with the leader material, and then back 10 times that way, and then came through the loop. And now all we're going to do is, holding both lines in this finger, these two fingers, and these two lines in these two fingers, we're just going to gently pull down. All right, just go slow, and you're going to feel it kind of cinch up a little bit. Okay, it's going to get tough, it's going to get tight. And then what you're going to do is you're going to let go of your tag end for your braid and just hold on to your main. Okay, so this is just the main part of the braid. I'm going to do the same thing with the leader material. I'm going to drop the tag, and I'm going to just pull in opposite directions and watch what happens here. And just go slow. And if you feel like something's binding up a little bit, you can kind of, just pull your tag a little bit. You can see right here, I'll just grab both tags just to kind of square it up. Now, once we get to this point, let's see if the camera will get that. All right, you can see how it's kind of forming up nice, right? This is where you're going to want to moisten the knot. All right, I'm not going to do that because it's disgusting watching someone else's spit dripping off of a knot. So let's pretend that we did that. All right, and we're just going to keep pulling. All right, and then sometimes we'll let the main line or the tag ends go, and you can see this knot forming. Okay. Now, if you have a line, get yourself a line tensioner that you can put around your fingers. That really helps. I keep a pair on the boat, and they're really nice to have. So I'm just here. I'm just kind of working the knot down. I'm going slow, and you can see I'm not like ripping this thing. I'm just pulling slow so it can cinch up together. And then sometimes I'll go over here and grab that tag end just to get everything nice and cinched up. And I'm pulling this obviously with my bare hands, so it hurts a little bit. But let's take a look at this knot real quick. The reason they call this a carrot knot is because as it cinches down, it gives the shape of a carrot. All right, so we'll just get this all tightened up. Final tighten. Oh, that looks good. That's a good one. All right. Get your snips. Highly recommend these. You can get them at the in the craft department at Walmart or any place like that. And we'll start with the tag of the leader. And I like to get really, really close in there, close as you can without. Hopefully that's not insanely blurry. But you get the point. We'll get right in there. Clip that off as close as we can. And we will do the same thing with the braid. And these types of scissors here are really good for braid too, because we'll get right into that little crevice in there. Kind of tip it over. Okay, like such. And that is the carrot knot. Okay. Now the nice part about this carrot knot, like we had talked about, is the fact that number one, the two lines are directly opposing each other. Okay. So anything that this line senses is going to get transmitted to your braid. And also what's nice is that it's wrapped around the braid, so it has a really, really nice shape. You can go through the guides really well. It's not a huge knot by any means. And now you have extra leader material, so if you break off or whatever like that, you can still have some extra to use to put your baits back on. But that is the carrot knot.
So that's the carrot knot. I did my best. It's really hard to get those close-up videos. But like I said, practice it. Once you figure out where your fingers need to be and how that whole knot kind of forms, you'll be able to tie it within 20 seconds. In fact, to me, it's a lot faster than tying two separate knots to attach a barrel swivel. But if you go on YouTube and kind of type in carrot knot, you'll see some other really good videos on how to tie it. Here's the two rigs side by side. One with a barrel swivel and one without. Which one do you think you're going to have more sensitivity with? Leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. The rig on the left with the barrel swivel to me is like dial-up modem. The signal is slow, it's weak, and it takes a long time for the data to get back to your hands. Whereas opposed to the rig on the right, anything that happens to that bucktail is instantly transferred up to your rod tip and into your hands. It's like fiber optic cable. The data's fast, it's accurate, and it's in high definition. I want to be able to feel every single thing that bucktail encounters on the bottom. Whether it's gravel turning into sand, or shells turning into rock, or even if there's a fluke swimming around near my bucktail. And believe me, you can feel that. There's some days that I almost feel like I can sense when there's a fluke swimming around the bucktail. And of course, you also want to be able to feel any strikes you got. The most successful fishermen have the greatest feel. It takes a lot of practice, but if you have the right setup and the right equipment, you'll be amazed how many more fish you'll catch. A lot of times we get all wrapped up in the gizmos and gadgets. The extra swivels, the extra clips, the extra cables, all those things meant to make your time on the water more efficient is actually costing you fish. It's minimizing your fish catching ability. Get away from all that stuff. Less is more. The less things you have connected to your fishing line, the more you're going to feel. And feel is everything in fishing. If you can't feel a fish bite your lure, how are you going to know when to set the hook? Give this a try. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. Like I said, this is something that we've been experimenting with, and I really like it. I've caught more fish, I believe, because of it. As always, if you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. We really appreciate it. Have a great day. Good luck fishing. We'll see you real soon.